It's Tuesday, March 17th. My name's Juan Brown. You're watching the Blanco Lirio channel. Happy St. Patrick's Day. In just 3 days, we've gone from a collapse in demand for airline travel, travel restrictions, to a major downsizing in the airline industry. And today, here come the bailouts. Day 2, no electricity here at the Blanco Lirio Global World Headquarters from this snowstorm. We've got all our needs met here with the help of the little Honda generator out front, city gas and water. We got everything we need to keep recording here, plus a little bit of 4G from Verizon helps. So the U.S. airlines are being included in this third bailout package being proposed by the President and Congress right now. This third package, $850 billion total, includes for the airlines $25 billion for U.S. commercial carriers in the form of grants and tax credits, $4 billion for U.S. cargo carriers, and another $25 billion in loan guarantees for U.S. commercial airliners, or airlines. Outside of this is another $10 billion for airports, because as you know, a lot of your ticket price includes fees and taxes. Some of this is going to be waived in this bailout package, and also a lot of those taxes from those airline tickets goes back towards paying for the infrastructure at the airports. This whole airline slowdown thing impacts everybody, from the very top all the way down to the barista selling coffee there at the Starbucks at the airport. And the idea, hopefully, of these bailouts is to help the workers all the way down the chain of command and not just the shareholders of the individual airlines. The other day, major airline executives were meeting with the White House, and I think in that meeting they impressed upon the President and the folks in Congress that if left unchecked with the current restrictions on air travel and the current drop in demand, the major airlines here in the U.S. would begin to become insolvent by the end of May without any additional support. Right now, United Airlines is talking about operating a schedule that only includes about 1/4 of the flights that they once had. And what's particularly frustrating to a lot of folks, including those of us inside the industry, is that over the years since the recent mergers of the industry, the airlines have been doing well. They've been able to earn some record profits, but in earning those record profits, instead of saving more for a rainy day, airlines instead chose to do stock buybacks. At American Airlines, they bought back nearly $15 billion worth of stocks, and the stocks still didn't perform well at all. So many lawmakers are arguing, or many consumers are arguing, that had you not done those stock buybacks, you could have had enough cash on hand to weather this current storm from a much better position. So anytime you take a bailout from the government, anytime you take money from the government, it comes with strings attached. And this is why generally free enterprise doesn't want to do this. And in my opinion, does this mean, should the airlines, are we really properly deregulated the airlines all these years later? There's so many aspects to the airline industry that is such a key and vital part to the infrastructure of the country, that is a completely deregulated airline like we've had actually worked out. Like, was it Warren Buffett, I believe in the past, it said, as an investor, if he had witnessed the first flight of the airplane there at with Orville and Wilbur Wright, he would have shot the darn thing down, because there has never been, the airlines have been a terrible investment because they're always such an up and down industry. In the end, it always seems to be a wash, and that at the end there's no aviation, there's no money left in aviation. It's just simply a very expensive endeavor. So right now we don't know what all the strings to be attached to this money is going to be. Some of this money may be returned. Remember, during the last recession, the auto industry got an $80 billion bailout package. And that was met with quite a bit of controversy. And in the end, the auto industry turned around and repaid that plus some interest back to the U.S. government. So some of those strings attached may include no charging for change fees on airline tickets, which is a policy airlines are pretty well implementing at this time already. And make sure that this money goes to the workers and not just the shareholders. And one of the concerns or questions is when the airlines return to service, which they will, this too will pass, will the capacity be shrunk down so far that airlines will basically be allowed to gouge you for airline tickets? I don't think that'll be the case. I don't think that'll be allowed through this bailout package. Which brings up the wider point to the amount of air travel that was going on before this current economic situation. How much of it was frivolous air travel? And the airline industry is famous for just increasing capacity and continuing to lower the ticket prices until the point that nobody's making any money, and encouraging people to travel rather frivolously because the airfare prices are so cheap or so inexpensive. It will be good to get a balance of a reasonable airfare and a reasonable amount of air travel, but I'm sure it won't take long for the airlines to just blow out capacity, drop the price of air travel, and again go back into this boom and bust cycle of profitability and bankruptcy. So lots to think about. Bailout for the major airlines here in the United States is going to be going on all around the world. Ryanair announced a huge cut back in flying. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Yeah, here it is. Ryanair to ground almost all of its 450 Boeing 737-800 aircraft over the next 7 to 10 days. Ryanair is expected to reduce its seat capacity up to 80%. And a full grounding of the fleet cannot be ruled out. So this is happening all over the world, not just here in the United States. Lots to think about, lots to consider. Talk about it amongst yourselves. Should the airlines be bailed out? We'll see you here. Thanks again for your support on Patreon. Join the over 1,200 subscribers on Patreon. Over 200 new subscribers over the last couple of weeks. Thank you for your support. See you here. Those trees over there, those are my neighbor's trees. I can't do anything about them. That's the neighbor's house over there.